If you don't mind, in your world, what is, to the average person that doesn't know what Lupron is, what is Lupron?
Yeah, Lupron was used to chemically castrate pedophiles. And now there's a small dose in it in puberty blockers.
Yep.
And so over time, this is the scariest part with this narrative is people say puberty blockers does nothing. I would argue that if you put a child on puberty blockers at 11 and then they stop at 19, 20, it's not just going to resume puberty. It's not a puberty delayer. It's a puberty blocker. So these things are changing the chemicals of your body and castrating you over time.
Yeah, here's the article. It says thousands of deaths linked to drugs used as puberty blockers for gender-confused kids. If you can go a little lower, this is an article from 2019. It got some criticism. I'll give the backside of this as well. So September 20th, 2019, UK National Health Services, NHS, is investigating drugs that are used to block normal sexual development among children and teens who are transitioning to the opposite sex that when used in other applications have been linked to 6,000 deaths. The drug in question are used to lower the levels of testosterone and estrogen, which are building blocks of sexual development and sexual function. The use of these drugs in other areas of medicine to combat prostate cancer, for instance, has been associated with serious mental conditions, including cases of nervous systems, psychiatric disorders, heart failure, seizures, joint pain, bone deterioration, and dozens of other adverse events. The FDA listed over 41,000 adverse reactions between 2004 and 2019 associated with Leuprolide, which includes Lupron and similar drugs used by gender clinics. Almost 26,000 of these were classified as serious cases, which also includes 6,000 deaths. And I'll read this next part. Is FDA indicates that amongst 3 to 17-year-olds who had taken the drug for various medical conditions, there were reported almost 1,500 adverse reactions, over 700 being serious, and 11 of those resulting in death. Of the cases resulting in death, the drug was used to delay puberty, treat growth disorder, or drug therapy, as in hormone suppression therapy, among other things. Tom.
Yeah. So this drug is a drug that was developed to, and if you look up, there's a condition that affects young girls called precocious puberty. It's when the pituitary gland is out of sync with the biological age. And what the Lupron does, and it's given in the thigh like once a quarter with careful monitoring of hormone levels and specifically bone density. Because at puberty, you notice that the joint pain and everything, people are going to have chronic almost arthritic joint pain because the bone development didn't happen. So not only is the bone density, but the bone size, growth plates are completely out of sync. And so you're not just causing a sex change. What you are doing is you are chemically changing the entire structure of that person's body. And they don't come out the same on the other side. In the case of precocious puberty, you do it once a quarter. They monitor it carefully. You think of it defibrillating a heart that's beating improperly. Well, it kind of defibrillates and I know doctors probably listening are going to get on the chat and say that's the wrong way to look at it. But it does, it sort of resets the pituitary gland to say, hey, calm down. This is what we need you to do. And then it was used in adult males. When you give them that, it's the chemical castration for serial pedophiles that we don't know what to do with them. So we're going to give them this big time toxic drug and we're going to throw them in prison. And so that's where big pharma is like anything. And by the way, this was $8,000 a shot. That is the market price for Lupron, was $8,000 a shot. So parents that had this, that was a $24,000 a year treatment.
Lupron is $8,000 a shot.
Go see if you can find.
I saw the revenues. It's $752 million in 2020 based on just this drug.
Yeah, I'm sure he could go to drugs.com or
drug.
The online legal pharmacies. You could go. You
type
could go
in Lupron, price of Lupron per shot. Price of Lupron per shot.
You'll see prices showing with and without health insurance, by the way.
There you go. $17.29.
That may be monthly. Multiply that times 3, and there's your once a
Makes
quarter
sense.
shot.
Got it.
Well, 1,700 times 3, that's $45, $50, $200.
Got it. So to me, when you're looking at this, okay. So then this leads me to the next conversation. Why such a big push for let the kids take it if they want to before 18 years old? Okay, let them do it. What's wrong with that? you should let them do it. If they want to do it and the parent supports it, let them go through the process of taking this before 18 years old. Why is there such a big push for that?
I would argue that it's the income. Big Pharma looks at this as a cash cow, and if you listen to a lot of detransitioners, they are not supported, down the journey. A lot of them, were guided, especially like someone like Chloe Cole was guided down a journey to go and transition, but yet didn't fully understand what she was getting herself into, didn't really have the mental capacity at 15 to say, you know what, I'm going to have a double mastectomy because I really want to be a boy. And so when you pair that with Big Pharma's dirty greed, you have all of these children now that are suffering medical consequences because they're using data from children that are suffering from medical illness that need these drugs. But now they're trying to give it to healthy, normal, functioning children, and now we have all of these things happening to them.
So when you look at pharma, it's hard for people to understand this is a new drug. Not everybody's going to be familiar with this. It's the same game over and over again. So you have to look at it in terms of something that's very relatable. For example, birth control pills. Big Pharma encourages doctors and suppliers to consistently give out birth control pills to young women at a very young age. You have some young women walking into doctors' offices for acne, for an irregular cycle. They're not asked about their diet. You don't look at their stress level. You don't look at any other components that could be causing that. And they hand these birth control pills over to young kids who then, young girls sometimes are taking these pills from the age of 13 years old straight through 25 years old. You're now seeing a ton of studies, by the way, that show that these women have bone density issues at a very young age. They're going in for scans at the age of 40 and they're having bone density issues because at an age when they were supposed to be at their maximum capacity to build bone, they were impeded from doing that because they were taking birth control pills. So you see, the pharma recipe is, let's just disseminate drugs, not investigate, what could actually be going on lifestyle-wise and otherwise to fix this problem. So now you bring in these other drugs. It's the same thing. You create a drug-dependent person. Women, when you talk about birth control, are very hesitant to get off because then they're dependent. They don't want to mess up their bodies. They're like, I'm in this routine. There's a lot of panic that goes into what are the side effects of coming off. You're going to have the same thing with this drug, whether it's Lupron or whatever is coming down the pike next from pharma. They want people consistently dependent on these drugs, afraid to get off of them, and it's a permanent, I think you said it, Tom, it's a cash cow. It's a lifetime cash cow in a lot of cases. And then people who do detransition and go off of them will talk to you about it's not so easy to do that. As any person who's taken any drug, any pharma drug will tell you, you could take something as simple as a proton pump inhibitor for your stomach for acid reflux. There's a weaning process that goes into that. This is not easy stuff. Pharma knows it, and the more people they have reliant and dependent on these drugs from a young age, the more money they make. It's very simple.
And by the way, I'll be Big Pharma, right? Well, my spreadsheet says that if you're on birth control pills right up to the point of premenopausal, you know what? That just means I get you on the osteoporosis medication early.
Right.
And now...
That's right.
But wait. Your joints hurt? You have issues? No problem. I have a cocktail of osteoporosis medications. Right. I got stuff for your hot flashes. I've got stuff to deal with the pain in your joints, and. Because if you take a look at it, you could look at each human being as a lifetime customer of pharma.
That's right.
You can look at it exactly along those lines. I think I didn't bring up media when I had my angry summary 10 minutes ago because you worked in media and you saw pharma's influence on media because of the amount of spend that they have. And we are, what's the other country besides us that's allowed to?
New Zealand.
New Zealand's, there's only 2 countries out there that are allowed to advertise like this. And you lived in this. So I didn't bring up media because I've studied pharma and I've studied a lot of other things, but I haven't lived in and studied media.
So let's go with this next thing about puberty blockers and what it does. So, question becomes the following: so, alcohol. What age is legal age to drink alcohol?
21.
Okay. What age do I need to be to smoke cigarettes?
21 in California.
Okay. How about if I want to buy a gun?
I think 18, yeah.
18.
18. Okay.
In most states.
What if my dad, let's just say I'm 13 years old, okay, and I go to a bar, and my dad says, it's okay, give him a shot of tequila. Can we do that?
No.
Well, my dad said it's okay.
Right.
In 50 states, your dad.
But wait a minute.
be arrested.
If my dad knows what's best for me, and I go to a bar, and I say, Dad, I want to do a double shot of tequila because it's been a long freaking day in school, bro. It's been tough. Honestly, I need a double shot of tequila, right? And my dad looks at the bartender, Mary, it's okay. Give him a double shot of tequila. But he's only 13. I'm over 21. I'm 34. It's okay. Go ahead and give it to him.
Mary's going to say, hey, buddy, I'm not going to lose my license for
Do you realize how stupid that sounds? Like what I just said right now, how
Right.
stupid it sounds. Now, here's the argument. Dwayne Wade is a hero. He's a hero. He wants to allow his younger kid to transition, and if the father approves, you should let him do that. That's a good father in today's age. In today's age, the International Women's Day, Jill Biden recognizes a trans male who is now a woman as the Woman of the Year. Do you realize the level of hypocrisy in these arguments? So if a 35-year-old father cannot go to a bar with his 13-year-old son and have a double shot of tequila because he's given the permission, what makes you give that argument to say, how is this argument creating momentum? I guess is what the question is. How?
Yeah, so a lot of the studies that justify, gender affirming care for children are done through surveying these children that were indoctrinated. So you'll get a child, starting, puberty, and in 2 years they'll ask that indoctrinated child if you feel like you're going to commit suicide, if you feel better. And if you tell that child for years and years and years that you're a boy in a girl's body and now they're starting to become a girl, you just manipulated that child into being okay with what is happening with them. And so that's why this journey of just affirming is highly, highly dangerous, because you're not giving the child the opportunity to grow up and make that devastating or hard decision for their life at an age where they can fully understand.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.